Right.
Who's doing the introduction? You.
Guess me. Hi there and welcome to this week's video, which is in a different location. We're on a little bit of a break at the moment. So we're in Devon. And we're joined again by my partner, Ian.
Hello all.
So yeah, today we are talking about, what was it again?
We decided on the topic for the holiday, how Lizzie's AuDHD diagnosis has given me a better understanding of her behaviour. Behaviour or behaviours?
Behaviours, probably.
Behaviours,
plural.
whichever is the correct use of the word. So that's what we're going to cover today. And again, I've made a list because it's helpful to me to have a little list in front of me. So we'll start at the beginning. Number one. So the first behaviour is masking.
Right.
And I think what I've kind of learned about this and what's been helpful is that I can now see it when it's happening, and I acknowledge that.
Oh.
And I also am aware that it leads to sort of tiredness, and eventually you'll sort of become exhausted and burn out. And so, you know, this happens quite a bit, and I didn't fully understand it to begin with, but I sort of learned as we've gone along. So I don't know what you think about that one.
I think that's certainly true. I think I've always needed a lot of downtime, and I've spent a lot of time in bed as well, haven't I? Once we've perhaps been out and done something together, and particularly when we've seen other people as well, I've just felt exhausted as a result. And I don't think you fully understood why. I just needed to basically go to bed after events, and perhaps becoming quite sort of insular as well, and not being able to fully explain why as well, because I really didn't know why I was like that. I just thought I was extremely introverted, but I think masking explains quite a lot, really.
Yeah. And so it's funny you were just explaining your thoughts on it then. Leads me into the second one on the list, which is the actual avoidance of social gatherings completely. And it's almost as if I used to think Lizzie can will herself poorly or ill in the run up to a social event that's been, and also with social events you tend to book them a long time in advance normally with things. So you might book a night out, or you might have a commitment to go somewhere, and then in the run up to it you start to not feel well, and then I think you've been able to bring on, and it's a physical illness like a cold or something even, but it just happens. It's not something that you sort of made up or anything.
It's a good way to explain it, really, because you have said to me sometimes it's like you can will on an illness, and it got me thinking, do I will on an illness? Because that's exactly how it feels. It feels all consuming, it feels physical, it feels mental, it's utterly kind of overwhelming sometimes. And it's led to me just saying to you, I can't go and do this event, and I've cancelled basically at the last minute, so you've had to go off and do the thing on your own. I think we spoke previously about the example of Stuart Lee. We'd booked months in advance for that, and I think other things as well, and I've just not been able to do it. And these are things I really wanted to do as well beforehand, but my almost physical health and mental health felt too important in the moment to say, I can't tip the balance of scales here. I just can't do it, really. So it's led to what you have described as kind of social isolation sometimes, and it doesn't really feel like that for me, because I know you've felt concerns that I just don't do enough in terms of seeing other people, but I think as I've got older it's just got more and more difficult, and I don't drink anymore as well, and so that was really important for me to as a crutch, really.
So I think to frame it in the context of having the diagnosis, it's something that you recognize it already in your partner, but it makes it easier to understand then, and easier to empathize with, even though it's not as if we would fall out about it particularly, would we? It just doesn't make life easier to be able to understand it in the context of a AuDHD diagnosis.
I don't will things on, they're just there inherently.
So I think the next one I've put down on the list, and it goes straight from that one where you mentioned social isolation, but friendships. And I used to worry, I would say, and this is from maybe how I was worried that people thought I was isolating you. When I wasn't, I was encouraging you to contact before you had your diagnosis, a long time ago, but I'd be encouraging, I said, you should ring this friend, or you should ring that friend, you should make the effort, and you'd say, I don't like talking on the phone and things, and it's having the diagnosis as well, that all makes sense, and like I say, even though we've always found ways to express ourselves and tell each of our emotions, that's something that I did worry about that makes more sense now.
And it kind of worried me really as well before I had this understanding of it. Because I've not really seen examples of that behaviour in my friends or your friends, where they kind of really obviously kind of remove themselves from socializing. And I think in all honesty, perimenopause has been a big part of that as well, and hormonal shifts and hormonal changes, because it has got worse as I've entered perimenopause. But it's difficult, and I know various times you've said to me, I'm really worried people think I'm encouraging you not to see your friends, and it's absolutely the opposite of that. You've been really encouraging, but I found it just too difficult really. And I do feel kind of guilty in many ways, because we have nice friends between us, and it's difficult.
No, that's an interesting one. And again, I think the point of this list is that, by knowing that you've got an AuDHD diagnosis, it is easier to understand. It doesn't mean that I didn't understand before, that I needed something official to tell me. I understood before, but it was just something that we put down to our own personalities, don't we?
And it's important to remember that we do have our own individual traits and behaviours, but absolutely these can be attributed to autism and ADHD, really, particularly autism, I'd say there.
So the next one on the list is I've put heat and the summer. Now I could have put this down as like environmental sensitivity, let's say. But one of the times this really made me think was we were on one of our long Sunday morning walks, where we just talk all the way on the walk, and we said, what's your favourite months? Rank your favourite month. And I think I said, July's number one, and then probably then it's August, and then your months were, I can't remember the exact order they were in, but it was more like April's the best. Then probably maybe September, October, March, and then July and August were like your bottom months.
And December.
And December for the other reasons. For the back to the avoidance of social gatherings one. So that was an interesting one.
It's like superlatives of weather conditions. Really. I don't get on with at all.
So heat and summer. And controlling your environment, I suppose.
I just like to feel kind of okay. I don't want to feel too warm, and I don't want to feel too cold. I like we don't even have to think about what temperature you are, basically, because it takes a lot of mental energy up, really, of being concerned that you're too cold or you know, it's
And then on the flip side, though, from the heat and the summer, you've been cold this week
yeah,
because where we're staying is flipped.
yeah, it's an upside down house, isn't it?
Yeah, if you're familiar with sleeping upstairs and living downstairs, we are
So
living
it's-
upstairs, sleeping downstairs.
and it's freezing
And it's
downstairs.
been a little bit cold, hasn't it,
Yeah,
downstairs
a
at
little bit
night?
cold.
A little bit cold. And you've been a bit, frozen.
Yeah,
And so again, that can affect you, I think.
yeah, I get really grumpy.
And again, framing it in that AuDHD diagnosis, it becomes easier to understand why
Yeah.
that would be such an issue, and
Yeah.
it helps me understand it more and be, have some empathy instead of saying, "What's wrong with you?"
Oh, you're never like that.
It's not that cold.
Yeah.
So that's that one, and then finally on this list, because there's a part 2 for this.
Okay.
So I don't know if we made clear at the beginning, but
Yeah,
there is
I've
a part
not
2.
seen this list, so and I'm trying my hardest not to look at it as well,
Yeah.
because I just want to go into it with sort of raw energy.
So I think following on from that heat and summer, I've got noise and other sensitivities. So
Okay.
so I've grouped them together. And on our last video, we spoke about loud noises and how dropping a saucepan or something can be, or the TV being loud. But then it's sort of that's that. But then everything else as well. There's too many probably to list of things.
Just very sensitive.
Just a very sensitive person. But it enables me to, if I needed any more reason to show some empathy and be caring, then having the diagnosis has made it clearer.
Yeah, I think in terms of everything really, I'm light sensitive, so I have to wear sunglasses every day.
Yeah.
And I'm heartbroken. I've broken my favourite pair, well, they're very nearly breaking. And noise sensitivity, very sensitive to touch, and all sorts of stuff really. And I've often wondered, why am I so sensitive to everything? I'm just sensitive to life. And my diagnosis separately of MCAS has exacerbated that now as well. But I think the autism and ADHD diagnoses have explained just so much, and it's nice really just to have this explanation. It's comforting in many ways, because I just thought, I don't know what is wrong with me. Why am I just sensitive to life? But it's it's explained just so much.
But yesterday, I think, you kind of reached exhaustion from these cold, the different environment. It's very hilly around here, so the walks have been we've done some big walks and they've been particularly taxing.
Yeah, my legs are aching really badly.
So we've both got aching legs, and I think yesterday you kind of reached
I was in overwhelm yesterday. I was really grumpy yesterday.
But because I knew that, and I almost expect it.
Yeah.
It's easier to deal with in the moment, and it was something that we just gave each other a little bit of space. That's all we need to do, really, isn't it? Is give each other a bit of space.
You said to me yesterday morning, because we were going to film yesterday morning, but it was obviously not going to happen with the mood that I was in. And you said to me, I'm just going to have a coffee outside and just give you some space. And it kind of like boinged around my brain for a little while, and I thought, actually that was the best thing that he could say, and just give me sort of half an hour to myself, just so I can try and regroup and understand why I'm so grumpy. So that was a really good thing to do.
And I think
hindsight.
Again, with would I have done this? Would I act differently if we didn't have a diagnosis? I don't know that I necessarily would. But
we've been together that long. And we understand.
We know how each other tick, hopefully by now. So I think it's just is helpful to have something in your moment when you might be losing patience or something. You've got something to say. I know why this is.
And I think that kind of stuff that you do really helps me in terms of the potential of going into a meltdown, because I think that could have happened quite easily yesterday. But I think because you're so kind really about all of it, it kind of lessens the chance of a full-on meltdown happening, because I think that could have happened yesterday quite easily.
Yeah. Fantastic. So that is the list of 5 things, but there's part 2. There's a second list, and just, I wanted to make sure this was a balanced session, and that I don't want to come across as if I'm trying to seem perfect and thoughtful and empathetic, which I've said about 5 times, but I don't know why I'm saying that so much today.
Oh, because you are.
So this part 2 is
that
your diagnosis has led me to recognising my own potential, we mentioned this in the last video, my own potential ADHD traits and how they may be.
Yes, that's a good discussion.
Frustrating and annoying, irritating, whatever the term you would like to use.
No, I wouldn't describe them as any of those. I think we're so used to each other's behaviours that I think we've almost got a radar of what to look out for in each other, and try our best to kind of help really in the moments.
So, are you ready?
This will be interesting.
Number 1.
Okay.
Procrastination. And I was going to do a list of these, but I thought I'd do it later.
Okay.
It's a joke. Procrastination joke.
No, that's me. That's my, I often miss out on jokes. That's me. That's an example actually of me masking, where I'm just like, I've not picked up on that in the moment, and I'll just nod along.
Ian's made a sort of joke.
Yeah, Ian's made a joke. Sorry, I missed that one.
So I could have chosen many examples, but one of my recent ones was my mole that I've subsequently had thoroughly checked out by the NHS.
Both
had moles checked out. Be responsible, get your moles checked.
Yeah.
And it was fine, but I had a new mole appear.
Yeah.
And I watched it grow for a bit, and you would say you need to get that mole checked out, which would make me upset.
Yeah.
Because I knew that I needed to get it checked out, and I was putting it off.
I think because it was right by your watch, it's really easy just to notice, particularly in the summer.
Right by my watch. Every time I looked at my watch, I'd go, there's that mole. It looks bigger than it was. So yes, procrastination could be many examples, but that's the one that I picked.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you recognise my procrastination.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely a trait of yours, and I think we know how to manage it now, really. But I think I used to be sort of probably a bit annoying with stuff in terms of trying to encourage you to perhaps do stuff that needed not urgent attention, because things would always get urgent attention, but if something was sort of pressing, shall we say, I'd probably keep reminding you, and I didn't realise how sort of annoying that was for you, really, because obviously you're taking time to process stuff, and I've done a little bit of research into procrastination, and what I, as a creative person, think that is going on at least some of the time is that things are just percolating in your brain, and you need time to fully process it. And I'm thinking in terms of maybe a creative project. Sometimes you need time for the idea just to boing around your brain for a bit until it becomes something that's a bit more fully resolved. I think there's a lot of behind the scenes processing going on. It's not laziness. It's not being ignorance of a fact or of a matter or something that needs doing. It's actually you're working out and what's going on in your brain, and perhaps trying to come up with the energy needed in order to do something. So I think this idea that ADHD people are lazy is such a lazy trope, because it's the opposite of that. There's so much brain processing going on.
Yeah. So number 2 on the list, before we get too distracted, is distraction. Easily distracted by other things. And there was a great example recently, which I can't quite remember why, but I returned from possibly walking the dog.
Yeah.
But I was outside anyway, and it could have been shopping actually. So I came back from shopping. I was carrying shopping. Something happened as I came in the door, which led to me leaving the key in the front door, and then I left the oven on.
Yeah.
And I left the fridge door open.
All on the same day anyway.
It was the same 5 minutes of action.
Was it?
Yeah, I didn't manage to do 3 things. And I sort of found it. I found it myself. I found the fridge open, the oven on, and then you found the key in the door at pretty much the same time.
At night. I think the key was in the front of the door, so outside.
Outside.
So, somebody could have taken it if they wanted to.
So always the perfect situation that you want is for people to see your key left in your lock.
Found that at bedtime, I think. So it had been in there sort of maybe hours. Yeah.
Yeah, so I managed to do 3 things. Yeah. All at the same time. Brilliant. So yeah, I'm sure this will be familiar.
Yeah, I think now it's become something that we deal with really easily. I think sometimes on days like that, it can be a little bit stressful because of, there's a kind of a safety issue. Perhaps if you leave like the oven on, particularly the hob, because it's like an electric hob, you can't actually see when it's on. Yeah. Which is a little bit of
not as bad as when it was gas, though.
No.
Gas is always electric hob should sort of, at least that's what I tell myself. So number 3 on this list is forgetting. So my short-term memory isn't great, but I would say my long-term memory is really strong.
I'd say it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I can remember a lot of things, but until they cross from short-term memory into long-term memory, we've got a bit of a problem there. So, and you might ask me to put the oven on because you want to have, I don't know, baked potato.
Yeah, I basically have a rest most afternoons because of chronic illness and stuff. So maybe at like 4 or 5, I'll go and lie down for an hour. And sometimes I'll say to you, put the oven on when you go downstairs if you come up to see me. And, various times that's happened and the oven hasn't gone on because you've been distracted by something as you've gone downstairs. So it meant that, dinner's late or whatever, which is fine. It's a tiny thing in the scheme of things. But now we've learned, if I ask you to put the oven on,
I have to say oven in my head.
Well, you say it out loud.
Out loud, so you can still hear me.
Until we get to the oven.
And then I'll shout, the oven's on. So that's just in case. It could be that that's a distraction because I could see something on the way downstairs.
Yeah.
And start maybe, I pump my back tyre up. Yeah, is the oven on? No, but I've pumped up my back tyre.
Of your bike.
Of my bike, yeah. So the oven might not be on, but the back tyre's been pumped up.
I can go and ride my bike now.
I can go and ride my bike. So, something positive has come out of it. So, yeah, that's that one. We have next one. And but I don't know what the technical term with this would be. And again, maybe this is all running into similar things, but half a job Bob is a nickname that I will get because
unfinished project.
Fair to say I'm not a complete finisher.
Yeah.
And I'm quite good at starting jobs. I guess I'm quite aware of this now, so that means also it ties into the procrastination.
Yeah.
Don't start the job because you're probably not going to finish it. So
yeah.
So recognise that one.
I do. That's certainly rings true. I can't think of any specific example off the top of my head, but I know that there are loads, to be honest. I think maybe because as you say, you're less inclined to perhaps start on projects now. There's nothing that's sort of coming out in recall, but I know that's certainly,
Yeah. and more likely to
Alien
just
traits.
get a professional person in,
Oh,
pay them
yeah,
money, and
yeah,
get them to do it, and
yeah,
not take on these jobs.
yeah.
So number 5 on the list is messiness, which again you may or may not be familiar with as an ADHD trait of mine, if that is an ADHD trait.
Well, I'm definitely more autistic when it comes to this kind of traits, and I'm kind of super organised, super neat, super tidy, or certainly I used to be when I lived on my own. Remember my little flat and how
Yes,
tidy.
perfect everything was. And then we moved in together, and we had to tolerate the messiness of my house at the time.
It was it was an eye-opener, I have to say. I did in the early stages find that quite stressful, and I tried to keep it to myself, but I couldn't help but be vocal about it a couple of times, really, because it was just overwhelming. I find that if there's no organisation there, I find it very difficult to cope at times, particularly if I'm in situations where I feel kind of overwhelmed anyway, and if I was in perhaps a stressful job, which I've often been, as an autistic person, it's really difficult to work a job if there's not appropriate accommodations going on for you in terms of support. So I was always stressed out, and I'd come home and there'd be chaos there as well, and I find it really difficult to cope with at times. So we've found a way through that, though.
Yeah, definitely.
I think compromise has been a big thing for us both to learn, actually.
And the dog probably helped by causing some chaos anyway. So.
Yeah, because you can't have a dog, and particularly a bulldog type dog, without lots of mess and drool and stuff, which again I found quite difficult at times. But we've learned, and we've coped, and we've learned about compromise together. I think now we live together in a state of it's not minimalism, but certainly it's a lot easier to cope with, it's become much more comfortable a space. And my studio is the one area that has become really important to me, because I know where everything is, and it's neat and just perfectly organised. And without that, I think I would still kind of struggle a bit. So it's been really important to have that space.
I'll never go into the studio and move anything or touch anything without asking first, or preferably you being in there.
Yeah.
So that
which
that
sounds
works
a bit
well.
Extreme, but it does work actually.
Yeah, because it's giving you that place where you know where everything is, and you look after the filing of all the important documents as well. So I'm not left to lose those. If I'm doing a job, often it'll be on a bicycle. I'll lose things before I finish the job. I've lost the torque wrench that I need to tighten up the bolt. I've lost the Allen key for this bit, so it's frustrating to myself. So I understand it completely. Yeah,
and I think being forgetful is a human trait, isn't it? But when we're talking about kind of more extremes of that behaviour, that's certainly a neurodivergent or specifically an ADHD trait here.
Yeah. Right. Final thing on the list.
Ooh.
Echolalia. Have I said that correctly?
You have.
I've picked that up from you, the correct term for it, which is exhibited by me hearing songs or sayings and then vocalising them, saying them out loud for probably the next week. Whatever it might be, I'll hear something and I get that in my head, and then I have to end up singing it to you.
So then it rebounds around my head as well. So banter and memes was a big one for a while. I don't even know where that came from.
That came from Limmy. So I kept saying banter and memes a lot.
Limmy's a Scottish comedian he does a lot of streaming, doesn't he, these days? But he's really funny.
So he had a phase of saying banter and memes when he was streaming. So I adopted that for a week or two. And it could be anything from a song. You've even started singing a song, and then because you sang it one line, it's something that I've had a tendency to repeat a lot in the past, and then I remember
Yeah.
you going, "Oh, I wish I hadn't sung that now."
Yeah.
'Cause you got
Yeah.
it. You had it. I can't remember what it was, but you had it sung.
Yeah.
I sang it back to you for a week.
Yeah. I mean, I have that too. I think, what's the one I have? The doo-ba-doo, doo-ba-doo, doo-doo. It's often going on,
Transylvania 65000.
which is just
Yeah,
bizarre,
that's
isn't it?
quite
An old
bizarre.
Glenn Miller thing that stuck in my head from years
Yeah.
ago. But interestingly, I've had a song stuck in my head all
For
week.
the
Really.
holiday.
I can't remember if it's what it's called specifically. I'll put the term up here because I don't think it is echolalia when it's internal, or it might be some version of echolalia. But I've had Radiohead's Creep in my head for the whole week, and I can't get rid of it. And it started because I saw a YouTube short of him singing the end bit. It was just one long run he was singing, and I thought he did an incredible vocal, and it's just absolutely stuck in my head to the point where I can't bear it now. So yeah, maybe I'll do a video on kind of these kind of more obsessional kind of thought processes.
You understand it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Fortunately for me, all you've done is tell me that you're obsessed with it rather than sing it at me for the entire week.
Because I don't need you singing it.
Yeah, which I haven't. I don't think I've had any this.
No.
This week, have I?
No, I think, to be honest, now we understand ourselves so much better, and how our echolalia affects the other person. We're both less likely to actually vocalise it. I know I try and sort of internalise what's going on.
Yeah.
Which again sends me bonkers, because who wants Creep in their head for like a whole week? You know, I like Radiohead, but you know, there's a limit.
I don't know that I try that hard to internalise it.
Right.
I just don't think I've had anything this week
okay.
particularly. I do try to stop it a bit, but only after I've been told.
Yeah.
That's really annoying.
Sometimes I do have to get to the point where I have to say, you know, that's really too much now. But yeah, no, that's absolutely.
So that's the end of my list. So I don't know what you think about them as a whole, whether you think I may have ADHD. Potentially I could have.
I think without a doubt you're a strong contender for ADHD.
And I did take the test, I think.
Yeah, you did. And I think this is why self-diagnosis is really important, so that we can understand ourselves so much better through you know, the paradigm of being ADHD or autistic or AuDHD. It's really important. And I think also it evidences that not everybody feels the need to go for a diagnosis, because diagnoses or going for assessments here in England are free through the NHS Right to Choose. But we've spoken about it, but you don't feel the need to...
Yeah, I don't feel the need for whatever reason to go through the formal process.
Yeah. So I think that's really important to mention. It's not that it's not right for everybody. It's just you know, some people just don't feel the need. They've seen the diagnostic criteria and they relate to it as you have, and you know, that's enough really. So I think sometimes a formal diagnosis isn't sort of I don't know, necessary for everybody.
So yeah, that's the entire list, Lizzie.
I think that's really interesting, and there's things that have come up that, you know, I haven't thought about for a while. So that's really interesting. And what I'm thinking, actually, if the next time we do a video together, I wonder if it could be along the themes of the differences between our ADHD traits, because I think we do have actually quite different experiences of ADHD, and I think that would be really interesting to compare and contrast. So I think that's going to be a topic at some point for
the future.
So if you've any suggestions actually of future videos that you'd like Ian and I to think about covering, by all means let us know down below in comments, because I think it's just really interesting to do like a shared experience video now and again, because it gives a whole different perspective really, or two different perspectives on one theme. So I'm keen to do more videos. I don't know about you.
I'm always game. Yeah, always game to be on the camera.
Oh, before we go, I think somebody might want to say hello.
Yeah.
So here's little John Paul, and he's doing really well actually. For those that who are interested, because I do get comments occasionally asking how John Paul is, and he's doing all right. Way better than we thought actually. So
he's made it on holiday again.
Yeah. And he had his diagnosis last November of his tumour.
Yes.
So he's doing really well, and he's still here, still being Jean Paul. So we're delighted really, he's still with us. But anyway, I think that's going to be it for today.
Yes.
So thank you ever so much for joining us.
Thanks everybody for putting up with me again.
And we'll give it a like if you got this far. Forget what to say actually, because you're joining me. Give it a like if you got this far, and we'll see you again soon.